I. How dare you? How does a Dutchman get more Mexican than me? Horseshit. All right. So I think we've ran through everything. You guys know what to do. We're all set. We're gonna be taken care of. Oh my god, I think this mustache might fall off before the end of the thing. But I'm glad I got my pictures. I got my stream. I got the beginning of the stream. As long as I got my content with the mustache, I'm good. Dead Flanders. Brains. Okay. Stupid. All right. So I think that's good. I think I got everything. Monday we have reggae artist Dylan Kawai or Kui. I don't know how to say it. But he's really talented, and I think I used to play with him in a band. But now he's doing his own thing, which is not surprising. He's a very talented human being. So that will be Monday. And then of course, that's all the announcements for now. So, all right. Let's do this. Surreal Ramen, go ahead, mic up, go ahead, cam up. Let's bring out our guest of honor today. The one, the only. Hold on, God damn this mustache. Everybody put your hands together for today's guest, Surreal Ramen! There he is.
Hey, my beard is doing wonders for this costume.
Yo, I'm loving the costume, bro. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this and getting all painted up for everything and everyone and all
No
that
problem, man.
all that good stuff, man. Oh man.
I'm wearing like a cape. Well, I'm wearing all black.
I see that. You got like a thing on. Yeah, for the people, look at this fucking mustache. I knew it wasn't gonna last. For all the people who are listening, because there's gonna be a lot more people listening than seeing this. So I'm dressed up like Dead Flanders. I have a mustache hanging off of my face right now because it won't stick to my sweaty upper lip. I have some painted. My face is whiter than usual. And yeah, so I'm just picture zombie Ned Flanders. And then what are you? What are you gonna go as, Surreal?
I guess I am my take on a Grim Reaper.
There he is. Boom, baby. Oh shit, I don't got anything prepared at all. What is this for?
It's for the tame.
What tame? I don't know. This was handed to me. I don't know why. Okay. I'm gonna keep this mustache right here. Without the mustache, you look like Michael J. Shut up,
it's like the hairiest mole.
It's like I got a caterpillar on my face.
It's April Fool's Day.
Oh, I see. It's tape. You want me to tape this on? Okay. Let's see. I'll tape this to my face here. We'll see here. All right. Oh no. All right. There it is. You guys see it? I'm good. We'll see how long we can handle the mustache on my zombie face and sweaty upper lip. Oh my god. Anyways, how you doing, man? It's been a while since we chatted last. So what you been up to, man?
I'm doing good, man. Been up to a lot, like running around with the Manifest family. Did a lot of traveling in the past year. Pretty much covered Ohio at this point. Really just like working in a lot of areas to grow and expand within the company and within like my own personal life.
Yeah, like what, man?
Well, company-wise, like I said, we've been traveling a lot. We actually just had the second annual Manifestival show here at the Ottawa Tavern about a month ago, which was great. Great turnout, great vibes. We had vendors, a lot of great artists performing, a lot of great bands performing, just an overall great night. On my own personal end, it's been a lot of personal growth on my end.
Yeah.
For about the past year. A lot of personal growth, but also like a lot of growth in business. But I those are some of those topics that I sent you, in the email. So we'll get into those later. But
yeah, man,
as far as personal growth goes, man, really just de-stressing myself a lot and like working hard to make active changes in the things in my life that were stressing me out.
Yeah.
I deal with like depression a lot, or you know what? I won't even say I deal with, because I've been okay recently. Like I've had some tough times, but like overall, when I compare like my mind state now to where it was, I've been fine. You know.
Yeah.
But it's like there were just a lot of things in my life stressing me out. I mean, there still are a bunch of things in my life stressing me out. But I've been taking a more active role, and you know, I changed my job because I realized working for the places I worked for really stressed me out. And like, you know, I work at the Ottawa Tavern now.
Oh, for real?
You know,
that's dope.
But working there, it just like literally eased pounds and pounds of stress off of my life that I did not even realize, you know, was being caused by these jobs until I was somewhere where I was like, yo, it doesn't suck to be here.
What were you doing before the Ottawa Tavern then?
I'm still a cook at the Ottawa Tavern, and I was cooking before, but I cooked in a lot of fine dining restaurants.
Gotcha.
Worked for a lot of corporate assholes.
Yeah.
Just like.
No, yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you. Yeah, especially in the kitchen, man, because I've worked in the kitchen before, and that's when the lunch hour or dinner rush comes in.
Lunch hour, dinner rush.
It's over, bro.
Pretty much every holiday.
Oh, dude, and it's just terrible. Like I really do believe that movie. Have you ever seen Waiting? That movie, Waiting, with Ryan Reynolds. I really do think that's a great depiction of what it's like to work. I mean, it's a little over the top in that movie, but like,
yeah, it's got a little Hollywood in it, but
right. But
it's an accurate depiction,
right?
Of like
it's like
restaurant life.
Exactly. It's stressful. People are freaking out. People are throwing stuff. People are mad. The customers are yelling at you. They're telling you that I hate this or whatever it is, you know. So it's like, it's a stressful hell environment that I can't stand. I've never heard of it. I'll have to check it out. You've never heard of Waiting? It has Ryan Reynolds in it, and what's that? Anna Faris. Luis Guzman is in it. Luis Guzman. Andy Milonakis is in it. What the fuck? It's
got a star-studded cast, bro.
Who's that one cat? I can't remember what's his name. It's a funny movie. It's a classic. It's a real classic. Ramen's red Faygo barbecue sauce smacks. What? Wait a second. You got a red Faygo barbecue sauce? Shut up. I need to know about the red Faygo barbecue sauce. Is this real?
Bruh.
Is this real?
Yeah, it is real. It's actually something I came up like early on when I started cooking. So this is like almost 5-6 years back at this point in my life. And I was working at the Malby Bay Brew Pub over on Broadway.
Uh-huh.
And I was just getting into cooking and learning how to make things from scratch. And there was this guy, Matt, who worked there, and he's like, yo, you can make barbecue sauce out of anything. He made barbecue sauce out of like root beer.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And like it was pretty good. Like
yeah.
So I was like, damn, so you can make barbecue sauce out of anything. So I was like, yo, like I'll make barbecue sauce out of Faygo. It'll be red barbecue sauce. Like essentially I was doing it for the aesthetic just to make it red.
Yeah.
But there's also something about that red Faygo, man.
That just knocks, huh?
Yeah, man, it slaps.
Hey, Big Papa.
Slaps, yeah.
What's up, baby? Good to see you, Big Papa. Thanks for being here. It's going well. We're just talking to Surreal Ramen about red Faygo barbecue sauce because he's a cook. Did the kid from Dune take over the show? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Surreal or me? Because I haven't seen Dune. But
it's probably me.
I'm Dead Flanders. Have you seen Dune? I heard that it's kind of weak.
I have not seen it, but I've seen the trailers, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I kind of do look like one of those people.
Looking handsome. Thank you. Michael Jackson came back from the...
I had a conversation with this guy, Will, that I work with, because I have no idea what Dune is.
Yeah.
Predates my knowledge, man.
Got you.
So I was asking him about Dune. He said it's just some fucking boring-ass book that some guy wrote years ago.
It's actually it's a science fiction classic. It's actually a classic. I mean, I've never read the book, and I saw the original Dune movie, but that was so stupid. It was from the 80s.
It's another movie.
Well,
people lack originality nowadays, man.
They do. It's just, let's just remake that shit. I saw the old movie.
Let's reboot it, man.
Yeah. No, I heard the new version is stupid. I heard that, and the old version is dumb. And the book, the book is a classic, but I've never read it.
Someone told me the book is just very hard to ingest. Like, it's a complicated book to be reading.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like The movie had great visuals, but everything else sucked. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like the movie can have visuals and stuff, but if there's no substance to it, it's like, what's the use of all the explosions and shit? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like book to movie kind of things. I mean, maybe like Stephen King, Harry Potter did it
Yeah, they
well,
pulled
I
it off.
guess.
You know what?
Maybe Twilight, but like there's not too many like book to movie things that I personally want to ingest like at all. Especially if I've read the book, like the book's always pretty much going to be better than the movies.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something cut out or a small little detail that might have stuck with you. Like I've been into Harry Potter for all my life. I've owned all the books. I've read all the books. And it's like watching the movies, I'm like, yeah, this is great. But also there were just small little details that get added into like the text of the book that people just aren't going to throw into the movie.
Yeah.
Just a subtle thing that might have stuck with, like certain things have just stuck with me for a long time that just aren't, in Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, man. You're absolutely right. The Harry Potter movies, and they're a lot darker. Like I feel like the like towards the end of the movie series, they sort of really started tapping into that darkness of the series itself. But like the
Definitely.
books are definitely like way darker throughout, and it really surprises me, Surreal Ramen, that you're a transphobe supporter by supporting J.K. Rowling.
I like JK.
I'm just joking. That was a terrible joke. I'm
like-
sorry I delivered
like,
that in a
was kind
terrible.
of a-
I'm so
kind of
sorry
a
that
weird
that came
segue,
out
but
like
I was
that.
gonna go ahead and hop on it.
You're like, I'm sorry. Like I didn't deliver that very well, and so it just sounded like a real question. That's not a real
Like, let
question.
me elaborate.
I'm just joking. I am just joking. Have you seen the new Dave Chappelle special?
I have not, man. I honestly do not watch that much TV anymore. I really spend like most of my time creating content.
That's dope. You should. That's
Yeah,
how it should be.
And like I've been trying to like teach myself to only ingest things that are like inspirational to me, whether that be like certain artists, whether that be, someone who says the right things or someone with a little bit more wisdom. Watching business videos on YouTube. There's this guy who I guess he did a lot of the prominent logos for a lot of different companies. I cannot remember what his name is, but he drops absolute gems at all points in time. So like I watch his videos a lot, and he's made the Nike logo, and he's done fucking just amazing things as being a digital artist like me. And I'm just like the Nike logo, a check and a name. And he's like, yeah, this thing is worth billions at this point. This check and the name that I did. And I'm like,
is it Phil Knight? Is that his name? Phil Knight?
Phil Knight? It may be.
I'm trying to find it. Who?
Down on my phone.
Yeah, man. There's the advertising world. I mean, like when you look at like the Volkswagen, that whole series, and Got Milk, right? Got Milk was a really successful advertising. What do you call it? Yeah,
strategy.
Yeah, I forgot what the campaign. It was a great campaign,
so
which exists still.
It all seems like so simple when we like take that in as a consumer, but when like I've seen it explained on the business end, so much thought and so much process comes into like if your emblem winds up as just a circle, they're about to give you the best marketable circle that you could ever like. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, like, what are some of the things that you gleaned from those videos about, logos and stuff?
The biggest thing is knowing my worth. Knowing my worth was knowing your worth was a big lesson that he was trying to convey. So he did this kind of breakdown of where he was talking to, he does like, speeches to people. He was talking to a guy in the crowd, and he's like, what if I told you I can give you this great logo for $10,000, but it'll take me 2 weeks? And the guy says, well, I'll just go to the guy that can do it for $1,000 today. And so the guy asks him why. He's like, do you not have the money to pay for the logo? Like, could you not afford to pay me specifically to do this for you instead of the cheaper option? And dude said, no, I could afford to pay you, but I'm always going to go with the cheaper option. So it wound up into a situation where dude kind of broke down how, oh, I fucked up the times. Okay, the cheaper option took longer and the quicker option took a shorter time. That's the only details that were fucked.
Okay.
But he kind of broke it down to dude how dude would put more stress on himself for a cheaper product than to pay someone what they're worth to get the product that he needs right now, in this moment. And like that kind of rang to me well, like because people, just consumers as a whole are always looking for that cheapness in pretty much everything we do. It's like people will go to that option of the person who like uses Microsoft Art on their computer to paint pixels and make logos than like the person, who actually does quality work because like money talks. But dude said that he never breaks his value no matter what. He tells people, okay, this is what I charge. And people will offer him lesser amounts of money. And like he'll respectfully tell them, well, you can't afford me, and that's fine, but I can direct you to someone who you can afford. Which is a nice business gesture.
Right.
It's just little subtle business-minded things that I didn't really think about that like he manages to like explain in a way that makes it easy to ingest into someone who didn't go to business school,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's so helpful. I mean, those kind of teachers are so valuable. No, I dig that, man. I really do dig that whole value yourself because I mean, once you acquire the skills, once you put in the time, because the time that it took to put in to learn, you spent the most valuable resource of your entire life is your time. And
Yeah.
so your time is worth, I mean, it's worth your life, right? Because we measure our lives on how long we live. And so we put all this time into a certain a subject or field of study. And I mean that's worth, that's literally you're putting your life essence into something. So when you
Yeah.
degrade your own life, when you degrade your cost, when you lower your cost for someone because maybe they can't afford it, or you're trying to hook
Yeah.
somebody
Which is
up.
something that I commonly find myself doing. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
that
too.
was,
Because there's nothing wrong with hooking up the friends, but then
yeah,
then their friend has a friend who are like, oh, you gave it to him for 20. What's up with that?
exactly.
It's like, nah, baby. That's not how it works, baby. Get in line, take a ticket. But yeah. Anyways, please, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You find yourself
Um,
doing it.
yeah, I find myself doing that quite often. And I think it's because to me, when at least on like the digital art front, it's a low impact thing for me. Like it takes me minutes to do. Like it doesn't really bother me that much, but that also puts me in a lot of situations where like I don't wind up paid after making art for someone, or I make a bunch of art for someone. They come to me one night, yo, I need 7 images, and I'm like, yo, I can turn out these 7 images for you tonight, and
Right.
I make those 7 images, and then that person gives you the runaround for the next 8 months. Like,
Ugh.
I'm gonna get them from you, bro. One of these days. One of these days. You know,
Oh
it,
yeah, man.
it puts you in annoying situations like that. But it's like if you have a format and if you make people make an investment initially before you do any work, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
Deposits are the way to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I
Even if
absolutely
it's
agree.
$5, $10, that person's gonna feel like they invested a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
themselves into the situation. It's gonna make them, more preemptive on what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's like, you know, if because I sell sponsored ads on my audio side of this, and it's like when people are want to like, oh, well, let me get that for $15. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, I need that. I need money. Hey, lovely ladies, good to see you. I need that money, but like my charge is 25 a spot. So like I mean, yeah, I could, they give me a nice, oh, we're a small business and we're really trying to do it. Well, it's like, I get that you're a small business, but I'm a small business too. And you're asking
Exactly.
me to tap into my resources and my time and my energy. So and this is where it sits. This is my time and this is
It's
my energy. And you know
it's that
what? The price is
separation
only
of
going up. So get on it now.
it's
I,
that separation of business and personal, because people will always try to appeal to the human in you
yep.
rather than the dollar signs that you should be aiming for. People are always going to appeal to the human in you in all situations, not just business, but business specifically. Like, people are always going to try to hit you where you feel like you need to be nice, or guilt trip you, intimidate you. Like, people are always going to try to hit for the human element to get a step above you in a business situation.
Yeah, for
But that's
sure.
also just how business works. So it
Yeah.
actually makes sense to be
Of
very
course.
efficient
Yeah, of
at a
course.
lot of those
Yeah, I
things.
mean, like, because you know what? Maybe that first price isn't in your price range, and maybe there is some wiggle room. You don't know unless you ask. And that's the other
Yeah.
side of it is like, if that person didn't ask if I had better rates, I don't get offended because it's like this is how business works. It's like I'm not mad at you for asking for less, but I'm gonna tell you no, and I'm gonna tell you why. Possibly, like possibly I might tell you why, or I'll just say no, depending on the situation. Working in retail, I always wanted to punch people in the throat when they ask for extra discounts or no tax, etc. Like, no, you don't get a special price for no reason. Yeah, it's like if you're working at Target or something or at Walmart, and someone's like, come on, man, let me just get this for $2. It's just like, yo, I don't own
Bro.
Walmart. I don't set these prices, son. Just pay it and leave. I don't give a fuck. Barter economy, Liddy too. No, I agree. And that's,
A barter economy. That's actually like my belief.
yeah.
Um, is like, people knew the value of things the best when nothing had a value.
Hmm.
When nothing had a value except for the one that you gave it, people knew how much things were worth more than they ever could now.
Hmm.
So it's like, that guy with the fucking rocks over there that are shiny.
Hmm.
You want one of those to put in the necklace to give to your girl. You don't really have, there's no dollars. They don't exist. There's no coins. They don't exist. So what do? Well, I've got a fucking barrel. I heard this guy's trying to collect water.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll give him this barrel,
Yeah.
and he'll give me this rock.
Yeah.
And I won't feel slighted, and he won't feel slighted, because we both got something valuable in exchange for something that was worthless to us.
Yeah.
People literally don't know the value of anything anymore. Like,
No, they don't.
outside of the dollar amount.
Even
your time when you go to a job, your time, your existence, the clicking clock of your life can be applied to money, can be equated to a dollar amount, which is insane.
It is, but that's how it is, and it's like who deserves more money for their time, and who doesn't, and it's all imaginary. I agree with you, Cartagena. I agree with you. It is an imaginary system that we just sort of made up, and that's why like bartering, I think, is the most truest essence of trade, and and supply and demand that you could ask for. But how do you scale it? How do you scale a bartering system for 350 million people? Without sort of I don't know, without some sort of currency, I wouldn't know how to do that.
You don't need to scale it. I don't get how humans got to the point to where they felt like they needed to
Banks.
systemize how currency works.
Hey, what's up, M. Sarge? Welcome in.
It to me just doesn't make any sense. It's never going to make any sense.
Yeah,
like,
well, it's the banks.
At any
right?
point, like, I cannot imagine at any point someone was like, yo, the bartering system sucks. I can only trade things I have for things I want.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, that's awful. This thing I don't use, or this thing I bake all the time, I don't need it.
It's all a power thing, man. It's all a power thing.
Literally incentivizes debt. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so crazy about our monetary system right now is that debt is the currency. Even as, this private bank, the Federal Reserve, is printing, all these trillions of dollars, and everyone's sort of noticing how expensive the food's getting, and how expensive the gas is getting. Well, it's because there's been a private bank flooding our dollar system with printed, made up out of nowhere money. Pyramid scheme. Yes, indeed. And so that's where we're at right now. There are less debt-driven routes, but also climate change. Yeah, but also climate change. Exactly.
I just feel like at some point in the world, someone got sick of the fact that you can't control everyone by the same means if there's no standardization.
Yeah.
When people have different desires, when people equate different value to things, you can't just say, every man gets a horse, do this for me. A lot of those men probably don't fucking care about the horse. A lot of those men might be horse farmers. So a person realized that and was like, okay, so we're going to go ahead and put a value on things. We're going to make a currency. We're going to make gold coins. Okay, every man gets 1,000 gold. And with this 1,000 gold, you can get anything. And without this 1,000 gold, you'll have nothing.
Yeah.
Becomes very easy to control a population that way.
Yeah.
You have something that they need or that they believe they need. You can appeal to everyone's desire because no matter what, that's something that people need. And that's how, our society is bred now. No matter what, no matter who you are, no matter what your belief, like I fucking hate everything about our government. But I have to live in it and I have to operate within it.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it, I need $1, Yeah. I don't believe in it, but I need it at the same time, because if I don't have that $1, my kids starve, I starve. So I need that $1.
Right. It's a
but
reality.
I know that the things that led me here to needing that $1 were shitty things.
Yeah. War really does change everything. Barbarians got people hold on, let me see what are you trying to say? No, it's more war and famine and such. Like everyone says this from comfort, barbarians got people acting different. Humans are just smarter animals, and hungry animal will always try to take what it wants. Yeah, for sure. Like I hear dude and feel the same, but history is wild and why when you see why things are the way they are. Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from behind that, Sue, because with a centralized economy and a centralized government, we sort of have this this overarching protection that goes out for our citizens. Supposedly, right? Supposedly, we're supposed to we pay our government taxes because we want them to protect us, from
but
barbarians.
How protected are you? There's still starvation in the U.S.
Yeah.
Homelessness in the U.S.
Lots.
Some guy can still randomly walk up and shoot you no matter where you are. So it's like, where is that overarching protection except for things that aren't within this country, which is another control thing.
Yeah, I agree.
There is no realistic protection of being an American. You can still die like an American
of course.
at any point in time.
Anybody can die anywhere.
Ways.
Of course. But I don't think. It's
very unlikely that you'll get bombed by a Chinese airplane now because of that overarching protection. That overarching protection only protects on the outside and not really within.
Well, it's supposed to protect from within the inside. And here's another thing. I don't think that the government is lining up American citizens by the thousands and just mowing them down with like guns or anything. Like I know there's issues with the police and stuff, but even
it's like,
go ahead, please.
It's God,
they're fucking us in different ways. They're fucking us
exactly.
like Bill Gates is fucking buying up all the farmland. Like, why is Bill Gates buying up all the farmland? I'm not trying to get too woo-woo conspiracy theory here, but like, it's really weird that you got this guy buying up all the farmland. You have a bunch of farmers who are being subsidized to not grow food right now when we're looking at a shortage, a supply chain shortage. Why are all these things sort of going on right now? Like, because there is a certain amount of control that's being forced upon us, and
we had a chicken shortage this year.
Chicken shortage? So why is the government allowing tons of illegals to flood in? Why do they give so much money to foreign countries instead of taking care of our own? Exactly. I agree with that, and the whole illegal thing that's going on right now. I mean, that my family comes from immigrants.
That's
So
just
like,
one of those societal things. It's
like,
migration. It's
my
fucking
my fa-
migration.
my family comes
So
from immigration and from Mexico, but what's going on now, I do think is kind of dangerous. Like, I don't have any problem with people coming to this country. That's why I'm here. Oh, Macafer. Oh, Papa Sweet, thank you so much for gift subbing, Macafer. I appreciate that.
lady in tuxedo.
But but the problem is with now is that they're just sort of walking over, bringing whatever is going on with them personally. I don't know. I'm not trying to say there's a bunch of drug dealers coming over, but when you open borders like that, the possibility of anybody with any kind of intentions can come in. And so that is dangerous. I don't think there's anything wrong with immigration as long as it's done in a proper way. My family did it the proper way, and it's their belief too that the other people can do it the proper way as well. This is coming from Mexicans, okay? Mexicans straight from Mexico. They're like, you other Mexicans, you guys can do it the same way that we did. So just so y'all know where I'm at.
Outside of government structure and like societal norms, what makes a person illegal?
Well, you come into a border that's not of your own, and there it is.
And borders are a construct of societal norms, not an actual thing. Like if I were to cross the line between Canada and America, that line's invisible.
Right.
Is it not?
For sure.
So that's just another one of those society things. It's like you can't come to my country because I said it's not. Such a weird concept. It's like if an eagle flies from America to Mexico, you think a Mexican eagle stops him and says, "Yo, not fucking with it. This is illegal, bro. Like you got to go." No, it's humans are such weird creatures, man. Like,
I agree,
honestly.
but as we are now, borders are important because we need to maintain some kind of security. As we just said, we pay our government to have this overarching protection, and part of that protection is keeping unwanted, problematic folks out. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to put a color to that. I'm not trying to put a race to that. I'm just saying that there are people.
Could have an American.
Yeah, American
fucking flew off somewhere and got
you're goddamn right.
brainwashed and come back and be an unsavory person.
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. It could be the whitest man in the world that shoots up a fucking concert.
Us from the dangers of the outside.
Kind of, but the way it is now,
like every really fucked up fantasy movie starts.
Well, I mean, but what's the alternative? I mean, what's a workable alternative? Do we have a open border where anybody can just sort of march in with any kind of weapon, with any kind of drug, with any kind of purpose? I mean, what's the alternative? What's a workable alternative?
Like that anymore.
Definitely
not.
I'm just curious, I know what I'm saying is that it's easy to say that, that this is some human construct and we don't understand it, but there is a practicality.
It's hard to bring that down, and it's hard to explain a way to bring that down because that wasn't constructed by just me or one mind, No. It was constructed by hundreds of thousands throughout time. So one man is never going to be able to bring that down no matter how much he agrees with it or disagrees with it.
No.
That's just society changes in a weird way, man. Society changes by the mass. So it's like you need the mass to believe the exact same thing you believe before anything in society would ever change.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I don't think that. Let's see, Carter G. It's not the government. It's just the dumbass people that keep supporting and putting in powerful positions. Right, like the government itself is made up of bus drivers, of fucking city workers, of trash people, of firefighters. So it's not like the whole government as a whole is just this worthless piece of shit. The government as a whole has a bunch of really awesome people a part of it, but then there's these assholes at the top who are trying to really put into place things that satisfy corporate interest and what can we do to control the masses as much as possible and sort of leading us down the path to sort of trap ourselves, which is really interesting, is that we are sort of putting ourselves in this weird place where we're sort of calling for more censorship. We are the citizens of the free world are calling for more censorship on Facebook, more censorship on YouTube. Like, have you heard? Like, I played the song. Have you heard "Let's Go, Brandon"? The song. I don't know if
I've
you.
never heard that song.
You never heard "Let's Go, Brandon"? Oh, let's just get a little bit of this in here because this is a bigger issue actually. So like let's listen to this shit. This shit's amazing.
With a passion, as I pull off in the Aston. Don't nobody like his ass, huh? Tried to cover up and tell the people go Brandon, but we know what they saying though. You can hear the chant in every post.
Okay, that's enough. I'm probably gonna Moving Dutchman. Thank you so much, man. I've been fucking Man-Child Show just fucking ghosted me. He just stopped talking to me. So thank you for gift subbing him though. Being offended is a choice. It is. What's the issue? I've never heard. So
I also didn't really like ingest any of what the issue was.
Of what?
That "Let's Go Brandon" song. I don't really.
You don't know what the issue. The issue is that fucking our president's a fucking like a dwindling idiot who fucking who is like leading us literally down the worst path that this country could even go for. Listen, I voted for him. All right, I voted for Brandon. I voted for him. I voted against the what's his name. The issue is the left-wing media protect Trader Joe. M. Sarge, I love that. Listen, I voted for Trader Joe, but yes, that's exactly right, because the whole idea is that we have this whole faction of belief that thinks that we should be not able to hear this song actually hear this song because YouTube is actually taken this song off of its platform because it says that it's misinformation. So what's happening now is that all these social medias are sort of coming together, censoring what you can and cannot say, to the point where they are protecting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. When Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden's laptop got discovered, which turned out to be true, by the way, the New York Post got taken down off of Facebook, Twitter, all across the board because they tried to just report news about our president's son, who is in bed with foreign entities taking money directly for him. 330 people, and the best we can do with the president. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Fucking the people that we had, all these people, and Joe Biden, who's ended up as the president, and this is not by by choice. I feel like this was something that was ran down our throats, something that was if you notice how Joe Biden, I don't know if you paid attention at all, but like Joe Biden really embraced the Black Lives Matter, like the movement, the protest, and all that came with it. But as soon as things got a little out of hand, he denounced it, and now they don't talk shit about it. All the promises that Joe Biden made, like $15 an hour minimum wages, like fucking health care for all, the what was it, taking care of people's kids while they're at work, sort of says all these things, all these promises. And I know that this is business as usual. This is business as usual. This is how politicians work. But what's happening now is that there is a whole side of the spectrum that only gets through and everything else gets censored. There is no other side of the argument. And so what's weird about this song is that it gets taken off of YouTube because it's spreading misinformation, and it's just a song. It's just a song of someone expressing how they feel about a situation. Nothing different from what NWA did. Nothing different from what they were doing in the 70s when they're talking about the inner city fucking blues. When Marvin Gaye was talking about the shit he was talking about, there's nothing different from that other than it's fuck Joe Biden. And now we have a whole fucking system that is protecting Joe Biden from a fucking song, which, by the way, is #1 on iTunes. Hold on, let's look at this. Let's look at this article real quick. Wait, look at this. So, Let's Go Brandon rapper Bryson Gray boots Adele out of #1 spot with banned anti-Biden song. So let's just go through this real quick, and then we'll sort of talk about it a little bit. Cover Your Ears, President Biden, a controversial new rap song mocking the leader of the free world, has rocketed to the top of the iTunes chart. By the way, 4 versions of the scathing anti-Biden rap, Let's Go Brandon, is now in the top 10 on iTunes. You see that on the side there?
That's insane.
Now, this is how many people are dissatisfied with our president, but you don't hear about this shit because the system that's in place now only allows one side of the story to go through. Listen, I'm a liberal fucking through and through. I fucking voted for Biden. I voted all Democrat this year because that's what I do. I'm from the fucking Midwest. I grew up poor. I come from a working class family. I believe in a certain ideal, and I fucking went through it. Fuck Joe Biden, okay? Fuck him, what he's doing, okay? Like, he is the reason why the Midwest is decimated. He's the reason why our jobs got shipped over. And then the 94 crime bill is what swept up those poor displaced people and put them in fucking prison to work slave labor. So this motherfucker, even though this is what's working against him, I voted for him because the other guy was much more toxic in my mind than this one. And now here we are. His ratings are 20 percentile with independents. Yeah. They blocked the minimum wage, family leave, and any other things that Biden wanted. Bro, that's why Canadians be like, fuck USA. They run the same logic you did. Hey, but I love the United States. I fucking do. I know that sounds weird. I just talk shit, all that shit, but I do believe in the United States. And thank you, M. Sarge, and thank you, Cartagena, for fucking your service for this country, because I'm not going to do it. I'm a fucking pussy. I'm not going to go overseas and start shooting at motherfuckers. So thank you. Hats off. I appreciate you guys.
I don't really hate the U.S. I don't know, man. I just kind of hate, like, society as a whole. It's like,
no, I feel you. People are fucking assholes,
just, like,
man.
yeah, humans are weird. Like, that's just kind of the thing with me. Like, I just think people are fucking weird.
Yeah. But he can't do all of that in a short time he's been in office. No, I agree with you, Cartagena. But the things that he is doing is only showing his true colors. We're only showing the true colors of how much he's willing to work and fight for what he believes in. And it's not very hard. And through the stuttering and through the cornholio poses and through all the fucking misspoken words, I don't think that he is truly, through dementia. Thank you. I don't think he's really working for us at all. So many people out of work and COVID and homeless, and that won't help us at all. We have an asshole society. It's the American way. It really is. Yeah. It really is. And I'm not even against that. I'm not even against the assholishness. There's nothing illegal about being an asshole, but you know what is illegal is selling your country out to fucking foreign entities and foreign interests. That's illegal. That's illegal as fuck. And it's weird because Joe Biden opened the energy grid, the electrical grid to the Chinese. There's just all these things that fucking Joe Biden that he did right when he got into office that was really weird and questionable. And when you ask him about it, he's just like, fucking I don't understand him. Love him or hate him, at least 45 actually did the things he said he would. And let's be fair, that's unusual for a politician. You know what? There was a lot of things that he did, but there was a lot of things that he didn't do. And then there was some things that he did was just more harmful than not. So, look, I'm not hating on Trump supporters or Trump voters. Love you guys. You're still my American brothers and sisters and non-binary friends. But fuck that guy. I'm sorry. I've been just ranting at you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay, man.
Surreal Ramen, how does this fall in yours, man? Like what? Well, I mean, if you were gonna have a diss track on somebody and they decide to just censor it because they're calling it misinformation, what would that do to you? How would you feel about that?
Is this concerning like specifically like this level of person, like president level of person?
It doesn't matter because it
Just
starts,
any person
but it
and
starts,
decide to
but
be
here,
censored?
but wait, it doesn't matter because it starts with a little bit on top, right? So they censor this guy for saying a little bit of misinformation, and really it's just fuck Joe Biden. That's really what they don't like about it.
Right.
And then what's the next thing? Oh, you said something about Kamala? Okay, take them off now too. Oh, you said something about policy? Oh, take them off now. Oh, you said something about God? Take them off now. Oh, you said something about fucking CRT? Take them down.
That's why I was asking whether it's what level of person it's specified, because it varies from person to person.
Of
If I was
course.
to go out here and say, "Yo, fuck our mayor,"
Mhm.
not really sure anybody is gonna do about it, you know.
Right.
But if I was to make a track and say, "Yo, fuck the president," and it went viral, the government controls the masses. It's as simple as that. So the majority of people who are going to get this content aren't even going to be the ones who support it.
Mhm.
It's going to be the ones who are definitely going to hate it. That's how movements start.
Yeah.
You present it to the people who are definitely not fucking with this. And that's how you get that uproar. That's how you get, things like censoring someone to happen.
Mhm.
You don't put it in front of the people who like it, because the people who like it are going to make it spread way too far, way too fast, and you're never going to be able to get it off the internet.
Well, I
You
mean,
put it in front of people who are definitely going to hate it really quick in a hurry, you get censorship, you get cancels, you get, everything that our culture just seems to be about nowadays is just like cancel everyone for everything.
right, and the problem with canceling everyone for everything is that we are eliminating a counter argument to everything. So all that we have through is one side of the story. And so when you're talking about a balanced conversation, how often is a balanced conversation is dominated by one side of the story? Like, no, it's two people
It's not,
talking, right?
But
And so, like,
speeches
go-
and commands are, though. And it's like, it's really a destruction of opinion within media. If there are no opinions, it's no longer a discussion. It's just one person saying what it is.
Right.
Simple.
yeah,
So,
and that's not
you know-
and that's not a democracy. That's not freedom of choice. That's not freedom. All you're getting is one side of the story, and that's not really the full spectrum of what's going on, right? And it's just weird because, like, for instance, I keep bringing this up, but like this lab leak theory, last year they called it, racist to talk about. They called it, you're a racist conspiracy theorist. And now it's like, well, yeah, that's probably what happened. Not only did the lab leak theory happen, but now we find out that fucking they're feeding puppies to sandflies. Puppies.
Crazy.
They're fucking feeding puppies the sandflies. The NIH, which is directed by Fauci, or at least something, our fucking fearless leader Fauci, fucking is experimenting with sandflies on puppies. So, it's the fact that it's just lie after lie. It's the fact that things are getting covered up. It's just the mounting pile of bullshit is spilling over, and there's no counterbalance to it at all. And if there is a counterbalance, it gets eliminated. It gets just taken off the internet or demonetized. What's fucked up is that our government is subsidizing, not subsidizing. They're enforcing this through corporate interest. So they're mandating you through your job, right? So they're not forcing you personally. They're not coming to your house like Surreal Ramen. Here's the jab, bitch, whether you like it or not. But if you work at a major place that has 100 or more people that work there, then you are forced to fucking get this thing. Same way with these, when you have these people who are marching in New York City, in Chicago, in Seattle, you have firefighters, you have cops who are all marching. You have BLM marching with cops, marching with Trump supporters. Do you realize that? We have BLM marching with Trump supporters and cops and firefighters right now. This is the most together we've ever been, is against these mandates. It's like,
Bigger fish to fry, man.
So
Way bigger fish to fry.
this is what I'm saying. It's like there is no opposition, and the fact that BLM is marching with cops and Trump supporters right now, that I think that's newsworthy. But you're not going to see that, and I think that's the problem. That's the issue, and it does come down to fucking fuck Joe Biden the song. Because fucking he's just expressing himself. He's a voice from the other side, and he's fucking and he's getting silenced. And it's gonna, and they're coming for all of us. It's not like it dwindles down, man. It dwindles down. And fucking they take away this freedom. It's not like they're gonna give it back. It's not like they retracted the Patriot Act, you know, after fucking they made the Patriot Act, and they just made the Patriot Act too. Okay, so you know we fucking, this is it. You know, they take these fucking rights away, and they're reluctant to give it back, because why would they want to give back more power to the people when you have, like, you know, these governors who are making their own decisions? And when you look at what's going on in Australia, there's parts of Australia that they consider North Korea now. You can't even, like, I just saw on the news that someone smuggled someone who was sick in, and it was like a fucking manhunt for this person. It was nuts. What is real anymore? Everyone believes the conspiracy theories first. Well, I don't know. What's next? Cats and dogs sleeping together? Obama expanded the Patriot. Yeah, I know.
And to me, everything we know has always translated from something that we thought we knew before. At one point in the world, everyone thought the earth was flat. Not just, you know, a couple people, everyone, you know, until someone proved that knowledge different. That's just kind of how the world works. No one ever really fucking knows anything except for the amount of time that they know it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, someone could wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah, cats fuck dogs. You didn't know? You'd be like, oh, that's new knowledge to me. But you won't discount it as being fact because it's just new knowledge to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a weird time, man. It's a weird time to try to expound or disseminate or do anything with information. It's just all been weaponized, and even the people that, like, you know, like alt media people that I like, even they have their own agendas. So they're gonna tell the news how through their own filter too. And so you got to be really careful. And I've gone down that road where I start listening to too many people who might be a little bit too on the other side. Dogs fuck cats. Yes, they do. Everyone needs to Google Analytics Academy. I'm with it. Y'all just need stat literacy. Oh, thank you, but you know, I respect that behind that, Sue. He likes the stats, and I just like to go with the headlines. I'm just like, no, this is what's happening. No,
I honestly stay away from, like, media as a whole, man. Like,
it's probably not a bad idea.
I really control what I ingest. Like, when you brought these things up, I would never have known what the fuck they were, because like I don't find myself I feel like people invest too much of themselves in things that don't really concern them on any level that they can affect, at least.
You know what? And I agree with that, because I sort of had a strong opinion about like trans in sports and stuff, trans folks, but I'm not an athlete, and, like, honestly, I don't really give a fuck. I do think it's kind of weird that, you know, that women's rights, you know, biological women, and of course I'm not trying to say anything bad about trans friends. I love you guys. I love all y'all. You know, men can be pregnant. Okay, I said it. So, but it is strange that, you know, a woman could work their whole life to get to a certain point just for it to be wiped away by a white guy who decided late in life that they wanted to transition, which God bless them, and now they're a woman. Okay,
but it does provide a certain benefit being a male in comparison to woman, biologically speaking. You know, men have more muscle mass. It's just genetics.
Right. And you know, that's a big part of what this whole Dave Chappelle thing is all about, is what he said about it. So I'm not going to go that far, okay? I'm not going to say what he said, but there is something to be said about someone who is biologically male, who's been lifting weights and training their whole life, But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Let them sort this shit out. You know what? Like, let the trans community, let the women sort this shit out. Obviously, we're in a transitional period in our life, in the world, everyone's lives. We're in a huge transitional period. Let them figure it the fuck out. What do I care? Why do I want to be? Why do I want to be torn apart by people and angry? I don't. I really and I don't really have a cross to bear. Like, I really genuinely don't give a fuck. Like,
That's exactly why you should just
but
let your opinion be your opinion, because when you jump into conversations like that, you have to have a cross to bear and you have to choose a side. You can't just be, oh, I'm in the middle. I have an opinion on this, but I don't give a fuck. No, they're gonna be like, yo, are you Chappelle or are you trans? Which one?
well, I'm all for going forward. So if going forward means that we figure out a way where trans women and biological women can play together in a way that's fair, then what the fuck's the problem? What the fuck's the problem?
It's as simple as limiting the sports.
Exactly. Like, there could be weight classes and shit.
Like a physically considered thing. Then it just comes down to limiting what sports they can play in. Make them play sports that physical advantage isn't going to be too much more of an advantage over a naturally born woman, over a trans woman, you know?
Right.
But like, I'm not a sports person, so I truly just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I really don't care.
It's not my business.
Right. And well, making it a separate category could be looked at as segregation, Cartagena. You know, so there's
everything's segregated, man.
Well, it's interesting. What do you think about these campuses that are making, you know, safe places for POCs where whites are not allowed to be in? I mean, they're allowed to be in there, but they get sort of, you know, shamed out and stuff. Do you think that sort of this idea of resegregating people is the way to go, or do you think that, I don't know? I'm just curious on your opinion.
I mean, I feel like segregating people might be the way to go, not based off of color. Not based off of color, because color isn't the human issue. I don't think humans know what the human issue is, but there probably should be some separation of certain kinds of people in this world. Not by the color of their skin, though.
The color of their eyes.
The color of their eyes, color of their skin. And it's even to say their culture, because culture is a weird thing.
Yeah.
Culture is a weird thing, and it's a thing that people tend to covet now. But the whole point of culture and culture even existing is because people didn't covet shit.
Yeah.
This guy in Egypt knew how to build stone walls. He passed that knowledge over to someone who took it to Europe.
Yeah.
You know, that's culture. That's real culture, is the passing of knowledge, the passing of values, beliefs through not a singular race, but just through the world. But now it's like people really covet their culture. And I think that's what it boils down to with the segregation thing at the colleges, more than it boils down to the color, because Black culture differs from white culture.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a reality, you know, that's definitely a reality that people need to sort of come to understand. But I'm just not sure, you know, like, I like the idea that there's a place for people to go where if they feel like they just need to be around people, you know, like-minded or like them, that's great. But then
it's also like, you don't really have the perspective of being one of those students attending that college. So it's not like you could ever say what the white population that they experience is like there. Yeah. It's like, you know, you and me conversating, you know what Toledo, Ohio is like. You know what the culture, the population here is like. It's hard to say that about another place, because someone who looks like you might not be so friendly to someone who looks like me if we were elsewhere. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, those are just all things that you can never put in enough variables into perspective to even understand. Like no one can. Like, it's so many things are such a person to person or group of people to group of people basis that, like, there's no way to make an understanding of it without being one of those people.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way to take offense to that situation without being white. There's no way which I won't even say there's no way, because that's also another thing where like the weird coveting of culture comes in. People of other races being vastly interested in knowing and understanding what other cultures have done, have had to offer, are denied that because you're a white person, or you're like any race, you are a different race wanting to know more about a race. So now you're appropriating that race.
Right.
Because the race or the culture is coveted. So it's hard to say like what any of those people truly feel without being on either side of that fence post with those people. You're not the white college student attending, that school who's offended.
Yeah.
And you're not the black college student there who feels threatened, so you can never really say, how these things come about, man.
Yeah. Yeah, like I like the idea of that that music and art has been one of those great, great binders over the years. Music and art has been one of the things that pushed and progress forward. When you think about you think about the movements in the 60s, like how much did the art and the movements, come together, the civil rights and the hippie movement. Music and culture came together to sort of push forward these new ideas and these and to push forward policy.
The world along for a long time.
And so what we have here is musicians and artists, but musicians especially have always sort of crossed and broke barriers. Whereas back in the swing days and jazz era, Benny Goodman, artists like Benny Goodman, who was a Jewish man from Brooklyn, I think, who decided to take a black piano player and a black percussionist out with him in a world that didn't accept that very often. And so what all throughout art and the history of art, white, black, Mexican, yellow, everybody has always found this place with art together. And it's always been this binding force, and it's always been this thing that cross cultures. We've always shared cultures. When you're in a band with somebody, no one gives a fuck about what color skin you are. They just care if you can play. And I know that from experience. And this is so the idea that that like music is being appropriated, and it's like we've been cross-culturing. That's what America's been this whole time. We've been cross-pollinating this whole time. So I'm not really big on the whole idea of like, this is my music, this is your music, you stay over here, you stay here, you stay there. Segregation thing kind of is weird, but I'm not trying to, and I liked your point where it's like, you can never know what that culture is. So how can you even really speak on it?
I don't think you can stand against it. I don't think you can stand with it. Like,
but I do see the bigger picture
there's three options presented on the table right now between the two of us. There's three options. I could, as a black person, say that I'm with it. Because I'm black, not because I actually give a fuck, because I don't go to that college.
Right.
You, as a white person, could say that you're either with it because you're a black ally, or that you're not, which doesn't seem like a great option.
It's not a great option.
Because it automatically makes you what?
Yeah.
Racist in the eyes of most people. Whether you just simply aren't with it because you dove into like the school records and you're like, yo, this thing's going to cost about $10 billion. I don't think that's fucking lit.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to care enough to get that opinion from you. They're going to say, he's white. He doesn't agree.
Racist.
With the black culture thing. Right. Racist.
Get him out of here. Yeah, for sure.
Like...
So what's the third? Man. What's the third thing then?
Oh, those were the three things.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, you had two options. I only have the one.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Well, but no, but that's not true because
I can say.
But
I mean, I guess I had the other option of saying that I'm not with it.
Which would be, but what would you get in return? What would happen to you? What would be the backlash if you were to say, if you didn't stick with that idea that
absolutely nothing.
Well, that's not true necessarily, because when you have,
it's vastly true. People will ask me why.
Mm-hmm.
You know why they'll ask me why?
Why?
because I didn't agree with the black side. They're not going to ask me why I agreed with the black side ever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
First assumption, skin looks like mine.
Right. He's on my side.
If I say no, they're going to ask me why.
Right.
See, I get presented with that opportunity to give them an opinion.
I got
Why?
you.
You won't because of your skin.
You will not.
Either you say
But that's
yes
not-
or you say no, and that's the end of story for you.
Well-
Either way it goes.
Well, I
if
suppose-
you say yes. Actually, if you say yes, people might also ask you why.
Well, yeah. I mean, like,
What
what's
makes
his
you allied to this culture? You know.
Right. Right.
But if you say no, no one's gonna care why. You're white. You
Right.
said no to a black thing. You're racist.
You suck. Get out of
Me as
here.
a black man, if I say yes, no one's gonna ask me why. I'm a black man who agreed with a black thing.
Well,
But if I say no, they're gonna ask me why. I
Right.
get that chance.
or criticized.
Yeah.
Or
I get that
criticized
chance to
to the.
explain myself.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think that gets presented in a lot of situations to a lot of people of lighter skin tones.
I would agree with that, but I don't know. I know, you know, just from us talking that you're sort of out of the, you know, the news cycle, which is, God bless you, sir. You know,
Yeah.
stay out of that shit. It's garbage. But
I don't even manage my own social medias for the most part anymore.
but like what happened in California, you know, with this recall election, we had a black candidate who was on the conservative side running against a white guy who's been in position, who's done a terrible job throughout the whole pandemic, and no one likes him, and that's why he was being recalled. But what ended up happening was that they said that this black man who doesn't agree with this white Democrat was a white supremacist, and even went to as far as a white woman put on a monkey hat or a monkey mask and threw eggs at him and assaulted this man, did not get arrested at all. So, and plus he took a lot of shit from the black community as well. So what I'm going to go as far as to say is that if you disagree with that you could end up being canceled even, you know, because this dude was technically canceled for having an opinion that wasn't shared among the black community.
You can be canceled for any opinion.
Of
nowadays.
course, what I'm saying is that I don't think you're as any safe as I am if you disagree on certain subjects, because now they are look at Dave Chappelle. They don't give a fuck that he's a black man who's dealt with all the things that come with being a black male in the United States. All they cared about is that they fucking made the trans community cry. And so now fucking he's got to go. And they're going to be as racist as fuck. Like, you have white people. Like, I have a friend who is a black conservative, and he goes around saying things like, I don't mind being called an Uncle Tom, which is going to cause some, you know, something.
See,
But
that's a whole different
but
side
what I'm
of the
saying,
scale
but
of
what
black,
I'm saying,
you know?
oh, I know, but if you were to disagree with something,
That's a very bad idea.
I'm
Crazy.
just saying though, it doesn't matter. You know, if you are black, I think that you can be canceled just as much as me if you don't go along with the group think. And
I definitely still think I have a little bit more.
I
leeway
agree.
than you.
I totally
I feel
agree.
like you have instant death.
Right.
If you say no, instant death.
Well, look,
I feel
Dave
like
Chappelle
I have
was
a
instant
little bit
death.
more leeway. I have a little bit more wiggle room.
Maybe though.
It's gonna take me saying no to this and 10 other racist seeming things before
You're right
like,
about
okay,
that. You're right about that shit.
you only get the one.
Okay, so this sort of leads me to this idea. I know we've spent a lot of time on this, but like, you know, this is important to me, and I know I bring this. Ice Cube can't afford to be turned down $9 million. Ice Cube just turned down $9 million for an upcoming role because he's not going to get vaxxed. There you go, baby. Oh, he's your friend now. The issues were more straightforward back then. The issues were more straightforward because people were hella uniformed. Yeah, I mean, we just all split off into our own different fucking factions, you know? Like, we're just, everyone's in their own...
It's a very, very strong thing now.
But
that's why it's also a perspective thing, because it's like that issue between race and being canceled only applies outside looking in, because people who know you are going to ask you about your opinion every time, no matter
they'll be
what.
like, why do you say that? But
right, because they know your actual character.
Right.
People who just see you on a, you know, from a whole different standpoint, don't know who you are, you know?
Right.
They just know what you look like, or they know,
like this,
you know, your outward beliefs.
This cracker ass motherfucker. I knew it. I knew it. All right, so I wanted to take it here. So and then I want to talk about what you got going on. Oh, we got to do a spooky story too. I'm sorry. I know that was out.
Othello.
So
Othello's a book, isn't it? Or
it was
play?
a Shakespeare play. So a blackface Othello shocks and a professor retreats from class. Now this was originally a New York Times thing, but I don't have a New York Times subscription. But I read the article from New York Times, and and this article, World Nation, wherever, is pretty much just a copy and paste of it. So we'll read through here and go through here. So let's just read through here. Of course, facing criticism from. Wait a second. Hold on. Is that right? Of course, facing criticism from my wrong decision here as a professor is nothing like the experience many Chinese professors faced during the Cultural Revolution, he wrote. But it seems uncomfortable that we live in an age where people may try to destroy the careers and reputations of others with public condemnation. I'm not too old to learn, and this mistake taught me a lot. Professor Sheng, who joined Michigan faculty in 1995 and holds the title of the Leonard Bernstein Distinguished University Professor, the highest rank in the faculty, was born in Shanghai in 1955. As a teenager during the Cultural Revolution, to avoid being sent to a farm to be re-educated, he auditioned for an officially sanctioned folk music ensemble and went to a remote village near a Tibetan border. The area was sent to biography. Okay, blah blah blah. After university, okay, let me see what's so this is what happened. The Olivier film was controversial even when it was new. So what happened is that this college professor, this guy right here, Bright Shang, he showed Othello, the original movie version with Sir Laurence Olivier, where Sir Laurence Olivier, who is white as fuck, has blackface on. This was made in the 60s, I think. This movie was made in the 60s. So what ended up happening is that he showed this film, and by the time the film was over, he was already the ball was already rolling for him to get canceled. And so the reason why he presented this movie was because he was teaching a composition class, and he was teaching composition of music. He's a music teacher. This guy is a two-time Pulitzer Prize nominee, and he escaped the Cultural Revolution of China back in the mid-'60s. Are you familiar with the Cultural Revolution, Surreal Ramen? Do you know what happened in the mid-'60s in China? Well, let me educate you a little bit, and I'm pretty sure
predates my life and predates my own personal history.
I feel you. So this is what happened. All right, like back in the mid 1960s, they decide the wife, I can't remember her name. I think it's like Ching. Well, the wife of Chairman Mao decide. Oh, it's Ching Jiang Qing was her name. Was one of the many wives of Chairman Mao, who was a communist leader of the CCP. And they decided to go through and rewrite cultural history, meaning anything that has to do with capitalism, anything that has to do with outside interference with the Chinese government, anything that draws away from communism. And so what ended up happening is that the government radicalized the youth in colleges, which the youth then revolted against professors teaching communist things, whatever they deemed to be communist. And I mean, it led to beatings and murders. And I mean, this whole situation was just terrible. And it set China back culturally a long time. And I mean, anyways, so this guy survived that. This teacher survived that by learning traditional music and not getting sent to re-education farms. Just to get fired from the University of Michigan for showing Othello so many years later and being persecuted as a white supremacist, spreading white supremacists.
See, this is what I mean.
I'm just curious, where do you sit with this? I mean, would you be like, if you were a student in that class and they were showing a blackface movie, but you guys were learning about the music of it, would you be offended? And I'm not trying to.
I would not be offended because I have that human understanding, and I definitely have that human understanding of inspiration, being a musician, But But even on the base level of this being, you know, a Chinese man showing a blackface movie, that's just so stupid. That's such a stupid thing.
It's a
To
stupid thing
ruin
to.
someone's life about, because he didn't get that chance to say, yo, this is why I showed this version of Othello. This is why I did this. This is why I did that. They didn't give him that chance. They said, yo, you showed something with blackface. You're canceled.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. Like, I feel like people who are racist or people who are on like doing racist shit just outright, you can read that off them pretty easily for the most part. I don't think I've ever seen a person who was hard to read, whether they were racist or indifferent to other races or not racist. I think I can read that pretty well on most people.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people should be able to read that well off of most people. Like if you've caught this dude, you know, slanging the N-word around students, he's got some fucking, you know, you can tell if someone is racist before they do something racist.
Yeah, I mean, overtly, but there are people out there who say some really ignorant shit, and they might not even realize what they're doing. You know, like, you know, you're really attractive for a black man. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's some rude shit, but I don't think it's career-ending shit. But I do think that leaves room for a learning moment. Honestly, instead of being mad,
even that. Oh my God, even that's such a stupid thing to get mad at someone about. Because you can put into perspective that person may just not be attracted to black men. You change that opinion within that person.
Yeah.
It's not a racist thing. And you can apply that same statement to someone's weight. Oh, you're pretty hot for a fat chick.
Yeah. Right.
Like, people just people are nitpicky about the stupidest things.
I agree, but there is.
That's why I stay like, man.
But language
I just got my lane, and I keep everything else outside of it. Like, it's just not my fucking business.
No, I understand.
I walk my line. I know like where my morals stand. I know the kind of person I am, and the people within my world know the kind of person I am.
Yeah. And
I leave it at that. You know, I don't think I have to prove myself to anybody about anything in any situation. Like, I am who I am, whether you like it or not. You know, my opinion's still going to be my opinion, you know, at all points in time.
Yeah.
No. I can like be respectful to you and no longer share it if it's something that you're not comfortable with. But at the end of the day, I'm still that person who said whatever the hell I said.
Yeah. You know, and like, I understand too, also the other side of the coin is like, you have white people being in a position of power and domination for so long, and I can see how, you know, POCs fucking like they just want their time in the sun, you know, and that's fine too. But like, what's happening is that it's sort of like it's sort of being pushed forward while pushing, you know, white people to the side, which, you know, I'm not trying to stick up for white people, but I'm sticking up for people is what I'm doing. I'm saying, fucking, you know, when you displace white people, that's only going to create more resentment, because most white people aren't being like, damn it, I can't stand them Mexicans. You know, most white people are not that way. So just put every white person in that classification of goddamn Mexicans, you know, like, I think is detrimental. You know, there was this case, I think, was it in Virginia, where there was a teacher who got fired from a job and was replaced by a woman and a black woman purely because he was a white male and they wanted more diversity. And he just won the case that was discrimination. And so, like, what's happening is that it's kind of going too far. And when I'm saying that when you're silencing the opposition, that's kind of what I'm talking about, is like, you got certain situations where and I know people are saying, oh, poor white people. Oh, poor white people fucking have to eat a little shit.
See, I honestly feel like most people are indifferent to race until they're given a reason not to be.
I agree.
Situations like this. No one ever thought racist Asian man before that Asian man gave them a reason to think so. And that's really how it works in most people's mind, is that they're very indifferent to racial issues until they have a reason to be. Like the Black Lives Matter movement, massive fucking movement. But a massive movement contained that contains a lot of people who were silent during way bigger issues going on in the world concerning the exact same topic, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So at one point in time, they formed a reason to have an opinion, whether it be an extremist one, which a lot of times it is, but that's also applies to a lot of the groups nowadays. It's just like there are like levels to this shit, man. Like there are people who are on the right path and supporting their group, whether it be like trans lives, Black Lives Matters, even police lives, you know, whatever you're supporting. And then there's always that extremist level. And that extremist level is kind of the ones who do the things like this, who need to segregate their race from another race because I just really love my race. But there's a subtext of hating or disliking or feeling uncomfortable. There's a subtext of racism underneath the same thing, you know? Or I'm trans and I want to separate away from all non-trans people. I only want to hang out with non-binary people. There's a subtext of disdain, dislike, distaste, racism. Or not, I guess in that case, not racism, sexism, whatever category that would fall into. But there's always an undertone of negativity in anything positive that most people are trying to do nowadays. Because you have to have an enemy to fight if you're going to fight a war.
Yeah.
It's really just like that simple.
Yeah.
Like you can't fight a peaceful war. Like this isn't the hippie days. You can't put flowers and guns and be like, well, you believe your thing and you stay over there and I'll believe my thing and I'll be over here. No, you have to destroy what it is you're opposing. You just have to.
What's up, Turd 3/3? I see you doing things over there. I see you. I'm not sure where you're coming from, Third, but you know, that is pure psychopathic politics. I'm just not sure on what point you're referencing, bud. But welcome. He's like all of them, motherfucker. Okay, so let's do a spooky story, and then let's talk about what you're doing now because I'm really interested. So we'll start with Surreal Ramen. I know Surreal Ramen had it was a quick but spooky story. So go ahead, let's get spooky.
I won't even say it's spooky. It's more so weird. And this story came to mind just ironically after you told me I needed to have a spooky story because the person that the story concerns contacted me recently.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this just makes perfect sense. I'll tell this story. All right, so this story is called Ghosts Wear Socks.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn this down. All right, go ahead.
Ghosts wear socks. I thoroughly believe this. If you ever wonder where your disappeared socks have gone, fucking stolen by ghosts. I guarantee it. All right. So a while back, who the hell? A while back, talking to this girl online. She's like, yo, come over, hang out. And I'm like, okay, sure, cool, whatever. So I go over to her house, hang out. She's one of those fucking no shoes on the carpet people. I don't really like those people.
Oh, dude, shoes on the carpet is gross. Have you ever seen like a petri dish of like the shit that comes off, like a petri dish growth of what comes off the bottom of your shoe? It's fucking gross, bro. It's fucking gross. But anyways, please.
Taking off shoes is such a hassle. But either way, take off my shoes. We're watching some fucking shit on her TV, just kind of hanging out. And like, she's like, you can crash if you want. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't sleep with socks. Like, that's probably the first thing I'll do when I get in bed. Is like, socks have to come off. I don't know why they're uncomfortable under a blanket. Maybe it's the double layers. I don't know. But socks got to come off. So she's joking around. She's like, I have a ghost in my house. And I'm like, that's cool. And she's like, he takes socks. And like, me just kind of thinking this is like a cutesy girl thing. I was like, oh, normally girls take hoodies. But if you want to steal my socks and be a weirdo, I guess, like, what the fuck ever. She's like, no, like, seriously, keep track of your socks. So I'm like, whatever. Like, I just kick my socks off all fucking willy-nilly like I do when I'm at home. And I wake up the next day, I cannot find my socks. So I'm just like, obviously I'm like, I definitely kicked them, towards the end of the bed, on the floor somewhere. They've got to be somewhere. Can't find the socks. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to leave. You know, I was like, maybe she hid them. Maybe she thought it was a funny fucking joke. The entire time, like, I'm thinking this girl might just be a little fucking weird. She was not. Or maybe she is. And that's where all my socks are. But either way, the same process repeats a bunch of times. And like, one day she leaves me at her house, you know, by myself. And this is like after like 4 times of hanging out, and I'm 4 pairs of socks down, man. Socks are expensive. I'm like, yo, I need my socks back. And like, I'm looking through this chick's house and cannot find the fucking socks anywhere. That's pretty much the gist of my story. But that girl contacted me recently, and I'm like, yo, did you ever find those socks? Still haven't found the socks, man. So I thoroughly believe that she had a ghost, and he was digging my socks, man.
Well, maybe you got a good taste in socks. You got a good taste.
I just wear like black socks, man.
Hey,
Standard ass socks.
Good sex makes you put up with sock ghost chicks.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yo, it was good. What do you want me from me? It's like
That's what I'm saying. Because after the first time and your socks go missing, and this chick's like, I don't have your socks. You're either like, yo, you're a fucking weirdo. Or, yo, you might have a ghost. Either way, you're supposed to not come back.
Whatever. I mean, you still make each visit just special. Just fantastic. So
that was the only weirdness going down, was like, I did, like, not being able to find my socks the next day.
Dude.
For the longest time, I thought she was fucking with me. But I actually, like, after speaking to her recently, I believe her. I believe her that she wasn't fucking with me. That's why I was like, yo, this is a story I'm going to tell about all my fallen sock homies.
All the sock homies. Man, you're right. That was I mean, you did a great job telling that story, I gotta say. But that left me hanging there, buddy. I just really was hoping that you'd see like your socks like in a weird pile and like these weird like cross shapes or something. It's like I came home and all my socks were in the middle of the floor. Imagine if you found a treasure chest full of socks in the attic.
Bro, what?
Or what if she like broke into your house like years from now and like just put all those socks back? And
whoa, that would be fucking wild.
That'd be so awesome.
See, I didn't want to fictionalize my story though, man. I just wanted to tell it how it was.
No. I didn't. I
could have given you a banger, but like
I could have given you a banger. No, my uncle. I used to. Me and my family used to live in this fucked up house. It's fucked up only because it's like in the hood and it's like decrepit. But I mean, whatever. I've lived in the hood several times. It's not that bad. People fucking freak out about it, but it's not that bad. But the house itself was fucked up and old, and that's why it was a fucked up house. But my uncle, I used to go and he would babysit me in the summer sometimes, and we'd go there and I'd hang out with him, and he would start drinking his black velvet. She's sniffing your socks right now. Shut up, Carter. Oh, surreal. Oh, it's surreal.
He notices me keep looking down. He's wondering what's going on.
He's like, what's happening? But it's but he used to like stop in the middle of what he was saying, and he would just sort of look up into the stairwell, because the living room, the way it was facing, would face the stairwell to the second floor. And so he would just stop and his eyes would get all like focused in. And then you'd point and you'd be like, hey, do you see that lady on the stairs? And I would, as a kid, you're just like frozen. I'm just like, and I grew up like Catholic too. So like,
yeah, that was a weird sense moment.
I fear Jesus. I fear like bloody white Jesus on the cross, you know, like, and there was, and he was this tall white dude and he was married to this short little Mexican lady. So there was like all these like crucifix all around the house. And it's just like, Mexicans are weird with the cross and shit. They want to put like a big nasty bloody cross over the dinner table. So every time you eat, you could see the sacrifice that our Lord and Savior did for us while you're trying to eat food in the blood. Anyways, as a Catholic, this shit's deeply ingrained into my soul. The idea of poltergeist, ghosts, and all that shit. So I'm just sitting there frozen, and he's just like, yeah, she's walking down the stairs, and I'm just like, I didn't, I just sat there and then he would just stop and then he would just like he was talking to her. And now, look, my uncle was in World War II. He was also in the Korean War. He was also an alcoholic.
But he was surrounded by a lot of death, and that's the portal.
And
that's the portal to the ghost right there, man.
And he said he would always see like an old guy in the hallway, and so like my family ended up moving into that house after years after he died. We ended up moving into that house, and I just remember having every time I'd go up those stairs, and I was in high school by then, but I was still so scared. I'd be in the shower just thinking like, oh God, like for the years, I think we only lived there for a couple years, but in those couple years, like I just was terrified of that house. And it was probably just some like ramblings of some old drunk guy, or he killed a lot of Nazis and he was haunted, So he did tell me this story once about how he was in this burning building. No, he was in this hand-to-hand. He was in a street battle, and it got taken into a house, and it was just him against a Nazi, and for some reason they ended up in some house struggling, and he got the better of the Nazi, and he ended up fucking somehow nailing the Nazi's balls to the floor. Okay, however he did this. Nailed the balls of the Nazi to the floor, and then lit the building on fire and left a knife. And so the decision was, do you cut your balls off or do you burn to death? And so that was my uncle.
God, what a savage. He was a boss. What do you mean?
Savage, son. Savage.
That's savage.
Yo, I mean,
Crazy.
it's just, World War II was a fucking crazy fucking war, man. That was like the last real war, like that wasn't completely just fabricated for money, like I don't know. Was the World War II, because World War II we were prodded, but we knew about the attack coming, but we did nothing about it and there's ideas that we knew about the attack. We did nothing about it because there was interest of going to war with Europe, or with Germany.
What's so weird to me about wars now is that like throughout time, humans have somehow gained compassion for their enemies. Mm. Like you don't want to mustard gas, you hurt these people in the most painful way possible. Like you're gonna shoot them and kill them anyways. Like why do you need that level of compassion when it comes to war?
Well, because, we're still...
It's self-concern. Yo, I also don't want to be mustard gas. So how about we say no mustard gas? This is like fighting someone. Like, yo, no face punch. It's like...
Well, I mean, no face punch. Nothing in the face.
Punch in the face, so we just don't face punch each other,
Yeah. We're slap boxing.
Same thing with like war. It's like, yo, no flamethrowers.
There you go. So there were multiple
mustard
attacks.
gas, no chemical warfare.
Well, you would like to think that, but then you have other countries who are just going to make their own decisions, right? Like
some people just don't give a shit.
I mean, like some countries aren't supposed to have nuclear warheads, or I don't know if not supposed to, but like, countries end up with this shit all the time. North Korea got themselves some nuclear warheads, China's got some. I think the only thing is that we just have the most. I think that's it.
Yeah.
But we did get shot, which was really weird, and I feel like it's kind of a psyop thing. Is that they sort of talked about the Chinese has this new technology called the hyper missile, where it can go like 20,000 miles an hour, and so like they could technically like shoot the missile, go up into the atmosphere, and come down and hit a specific target in the United States without us even knowing about it or being able to track it or stop it. And for whatever reason, the United States came out and admitted, we had no idea this was happening. We had no idea. But it's okay, because I'm pretty sure those spaceships are just our technology. All the UFOs that's been being seen. I'm pretty sure that's just their technology.
I don't think anyone's aiming to launch a small scale attack on the U.S. I think if anyone was to ever attack the U.S., it's going to be like a full country assault. Because if you don't, then the U.S. has time to retaliate, and the retaliation is going to destroy pretty much any other country. And we have the firepower to do so.
Yeah, and it's.
So I think it would take people banding together and being like, "Yo, we're all just gonna
like Russia
Try
and North
to
Korea,
rush them real quick, but
Russia, North Korea, and China, like that. What they're doing right now, they're all gathering their resources together. Okay, we have
you get the left side, you get the right side, I'll get the front. Everybody rush same time.
I mean, the good thing is that America is in a good spot. Just geographically, we're in a good spot. Mach 5, and they've been testing since 2004. We knew. Well, then why did we say no? And why? No, they said the hyper missiles. It's not Mach 5. This is beyond Mach 5. And why would they say they didn't know? That's silly. Okay, so we have a Would You Rather, which is Would You Rather Filthy Edition. And then, okay. So let me get a good one. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Surreal Ramen, would you rather see your genitals as a police sketch in the evening news, or have kids come to your house on Halloween dressed as autonomically correct version of your genitals, right down to that weird mole you have? So would you rather see your junk in the news, or would you rather have kids dress up as your junk come to your door?
For sake of not getting canceled, we're gonna go ahead and say in the news, because see my junk on kids just doesn't ring the right bells.
That does not. Is faster.
So definitely on the news. I mean, I'm not insecure about my junk, so I mean that's a story for everyone else.
Put that shit on TV, son. And put some respect on that junk.
My OnlyFans link is. Oh, let me stop.
Why'd you mute? Wait a second. 10 minutes passed. Why did you mute obvious and public facts? What are you talking about, bro? Dude, you came in here just like trying to start shit or what? Like I have no problem if you don't agree with me, third or turd. That's cool. I don't care. That's what this place is for. But I have no idea what you're referencing. You're just like saying random shit.
Random things.
You're just like, I get it. You're against the jab. You're afraid of Antifa or whatever. But like shit, man. I have to know you got muted. Oh, I see. You might have got blocked. I see. Our mods might have. Okay, whatever. Well, you know what? You might have said something that pissed off our mod. That's what happens, turd. It happens. But nothing personal. I'm not disagreeing with you. I wish you would explain yourself better. Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you. Ban that fuck. Ban turd. Fuck you, turd. Go to fucking eat shit. Call my fucking mod that, you stupid fuck. Now I gotta ban you, bitch. Did he hear what I said? Because I want to make sure that they heard what I said first. Make sure they hear that. Fuck you, turd. Eat shit. All right. So we have a baby. We got a Baby Yoda interview. We're gonna do the Baby Yoda interview, but I really do want to talk about the things you got going on right now, and I'm gonna kill the scary sounds in the background. So let's talk about you have you got the brand going on, right? Like you have Ramens World brand. Tell me about this, man. I'm fucking interested.
So like that I'm part of Manifest LLC. Knight actually manages me as an artist as well. He recommended that I should kind of do more of an over-encompassing brand with the things that I do rather than splitting them out individually, because I used to just kind of split my things up individually. Like I was Surreal Ramen the rapper, and then I was Surreal Ramen Emoji, and then I was going to be Ramens World for, the show I'm shooting. It just kind of like branched off into too many things and too many names, honestly, to relate to one person.
Right.
So Ramens World as the brand kind of just becomes a thing that's overarching as me as a whole, So it overarches into Surreal Ramen as the artist. It overarches into Surreal Ramen as the businessman. Surreal Ramen as the director. It just kind of something that I'm looking forward to doing within like this next year's WSEG Surreal Ramen, or not Surreal Ramen, but Ramens World. as an over-encompassing thing to everything I do from like, this next year forward.
Right.
Um,
So what does
which,
that entail? Tell us what that entails.
so I do a lot of things. You seen someone throw in the chat earlier some fucking red Fago barbecue sauce.
That's just tight.
So it's like, I tend to delve into a lot of different lanes. That what rebranding myself as like Ramens World as a brand really means to me is kind of cutting down and specifying what directions I'm headed outside of, just being a musical artist. I actually got my BeatStars started this year as well. So like I'm actually been producing and, trying to sell beats. That was a big branch out for me. My digital art, I've actually done very well in my digital art business this year. When I originally started, I really wanted it to be like my main focus, because I just realized like if I just made the right moves every day, it's easy to make like hundreds of dollars every day. And like that could have been my 9 to 5. But music is just like where my heart's at. Like music where my heart is at, and like digital art makes me money. So, I have to focus on where my heart's at. A lot of these ideas just came from like trying to get myself more into a business format rather than like just an individual, which I mean, I'll be an individual within even being in that LLC, but it allows me to move in a different way. So it kind of just trims things down to like my services, which will be, which are selling beats, selling digital art. I actually just started making custom Pokemon cards.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, man. So like I'm putting I put Jack Torrance from The Shining on a Pokemon card. A Jack Torrance Pokemon card. Fire. Fuego. Love it.
That's
but like, yeah,
dope.
I'm just kind of doing this custom Pokemon card thing. It's
dude, Surreal
it's actually something.
Dude,
Wait.
I feel like you would do okay on Twitch if you took your art, your digital art, your music. Like you could do something where I think you could do something on Twitch with that, because there's artists all around. People love Poker Man on this fucking platform. It's full of fucking nerds. So like, it's right up your alley. I think that fucking I think you would do all right, man. And I don't mean to call you a nerd in a bad way. I'm a nerd too.
I'm definitely a nerd now.
I'm not. I wasn't trying to shit out you in any way, because I'm definitely a fucking nerd. But I mean, like, I'm not a Poker Man nerd, so it's fucking. I really do think that that maybe you could do something. I mean, because there's rappers on this platform. There's this dude named the Dapper Rapper. This Cuban dude from Miami, fucking murders, and like he's a Twitch partner. Does fucking great on this platform. He
wasn't Harry Mack like a Twitch rapper?
He still is, man. He still is. Mike Shinoda. Dude, Mike Shinoda is Harry Mack is a big Twitch artist. Yeah, Mike Shinoda. My
2 experiences with using Twitch have been both of our interviews. Outside of that, I've never really used Twitch.
I'm telling you.
Actually, I think I might have Twitch streamed a performance for my homie Press Plays.
Yeah.
Was that Zoom?
Yeah.
It might have been Twitch. I think I might have Twitch streamed a performance for my homie Press Plays Riley Fest last year.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think I've seen that. Yeah, he had his phone out and he's Twitch. I don't know, man. It's something to consider, but just because like all the things you do fit really perfectly into this realm, where it's like you do digital art, you do music, you produce. I mean, all these things are big draws, but I mean, it's a lot of work and a lot of time, but it's definitely something that will make
So it's definitely like kind of like where I'm trying to figure out is where my platform is going to be.
Yeah.
I already know, where my music platform is going to be, YouTube spot. Like that comes easy. I just upload that to a site and they ship it off to every other site for me. It's really been figuring out that platform for like the more physical side of my art, because that's what I use to make money. But it's also the thing that I'm the absolute worst at marketing. So it's like figuring out where I'm going to build that platform is like the goals for this next year. Christ.
Well, just to give you a little bit, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but just a little bit more on Twitch, just to give you like just a great example is that Reina went from, you know, she would drop albums and, you know, less than 1,000 people would listen to, you know, she's going on a year and a half in Twitch, and all of her fucking songs have more than like 2,000, you know, 5,000 hits on it. And it's all from her community. It's all from basing this, it's all from investing time into her Twitch community, and it's having real world applications. And yeah, me too, Willis. I fucking love her too. But it has real world applications, whereas like just her marketing, her reach, like she's been on front page streams where she's been playing to like up to 20,000 people at one time. She's had all these opportunities. She's connected with amazing artists and collaborations. It really is a if you are looking for a place to put your art that will fit perfectly, I mean, Twitch, it really is, because really it's about building, you know, people come, the art is sort of a thing that facilitates just hanging out. So like, it's really people just want to hang out with you, you know, like they just want to
building that connection.
Exactly. But you have a direct connection to your audience, and these are true people who are actually going to go out and buy your merch. And I don't mean to talk about you guys while you're right there. I'm sorry, guys. I know that's a little awkward, but like these are people who are true fans, who are going to buy your merch, who are going to listen to your music, who are supporting you. And like the problem is with just throwing something up on Spotify and YouTube and then, you know, posting a couple things on Facebook about it or buying ads is that you're just sort of flinging it, you know, you're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But when you have
I can see the appeal of Twitch, because like you build that community.
It's your own community who are there for you, who are there to support you. So when you put
your art in front of them, they're like, yes.
Yes. No, I'm telling you right now, in Reina's Discord, it's fucking popping off right now on what the next release is going to be. And I hope it's Crown. Put it on your crown. But, you know, there's 2 songs that are up for grabs to be produced for the next release, and people are losing their goddamn mind about it because it's fun, right? Because they feel like they're a part of the decision making, and that's what it's all about. Is that it's a part of making the community feel involved, and that's why we have a Baby Yoda interview coming up. That's why I have these cards. That's why I have these channel points where people get to interact. People can ask questions. I really just think it's a beautiful way for you to connect with a real audience. And it's so different from my podcast audience, because my podcast audience is growing, and it's not huge or anything, but it's definitely a humble amount. And I get barely any kind of feedback from them. But this is direct feedback. This is like, you know, if Turd don't like what you just said, they're going to say some random weird shit in your face that might not make any sense. But you're getting that feedback right away. And so I just think it's like one of the most, you know, just personalized community building platforms that you could ever really come across. But it does take time, and it does take effort, and it does take technology. And that's I
think that might be the avenue that I need, though, because like I think that's one of my biggest issues with marketing myself, is that like I don't market myself on a personal level. I market my talents.
But how can you market on a personal level on a platform
the way you're
like
doing
Facebook?
Now? You think people come here because you're We Speak English Good? They come here because they like you. You marketed yourself.
Right, but I'm saying, like, how could you market yourself now with a platform like Facebook or Instagram, where it's just like there's no, I mean, there is personality there, but it's just
there's not enough.
It's not enough. You just have a picture of you doing this, having a picture of you. But if they see you creating, if they see Surreal Ramen cook up in the lab from start to finish a song that was directly influenced by whatever they were saying, or whatever you were doing, or whatever vibes you were feeling in chat, that song is going to mean way more to somebody who was a part of that creative process than it is for someone who is just like, oh, here's a hip hop song that I see. Okay, I'll see it 2 seconds, or not even at all. You know, it's like, or they'll just like your post and keep moving. You know what I mean? It's
and I feel like that's where it boils down to with a lot of people who are my fans. It's like they already know like kind of what to expect from me. So it doesn't really require a deeper investment. If I drop something and I say it's fire, they're like, okay, it's probably fire. Like, if I say I'm doing something cool, they're like, okay, he's probably doing something cool. But it doesn't require that actual investment into me or the art, honestly. And like that's what I'm looking for in this next year of my life. Like my plan was to really take a break from creating music. I'm sitting on a bunch of music, which is another thing I wanted to talk about was Ramens World, the show.
Ooh, the show. What's up with the show?
I don't know if I should call it a show. Because I think I'm gonna host it on YouTube. I plan on hosting on YouTube.
That's a show.
But it's kind of this musical anthology that I've been writing all year. And it's kind of like a weird mix up of like stories that have a lot to do with my life and stories that are just like really fucking trippy. So yeah, Ramens World, the show. I started writing songs a few months back and I was like, these songs are like, I was in a certain spot in my life and these songs coincided with the direction my story was going, you know, in real life. So I was able to kind of write forward and now I've written past, you know, where I am. Yeah. So now I'm looking at these stories like they might be my future.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came together as this really like abstract, it's almost an abstract autobiography, honestly. It's very dramatized. It's going to be very Hollywood. It's all going to be shot first person perspective. I have a GoPro 5K. I'm just going to shoot it all first person perspective. And it's going to be like lightly dialogue based, but mostly based upon the songs. I felt like it was a very good way to put music into a different format than just like your standard music video or me dropping a link or, you know, something of that nature, by giving them kind of this story, it's almost like the stories that I tell within the visual and dialogue aspects of these songs or of these videos kind of coincide with the spots that I was at when I actually created these songs.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like a look into my life that people just currently don't have on me. Like I said, I'm always in the shadows, man. I'm always hiding out.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Well, yeah, well, in that case, then Twitch might be a little too intrusive for you, you know? Like, Twitch might be one of those things that's too much, you know? Because, like, if you like a certain amount of privacy and, you know, Twitch is definitely one of those things you'll end up sharing some shit on.
Yeah, it's like when I was functioning in a more toxic, basic manner, like social media was my thing because I can fucking go on Facebook and say, yo, I'm sad. Today fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like when I tried to start steering myself away from like using social media in that manner as like a fucking tell-all book to how I'm feeling, what I'm doing, I can no longer be consistent with social media because I very rarely see a point on going on it. Like I'll scroll Facebook when I'm in awkward situations that I don't want to be in. I'll scroll to pretend like I'm not feeling awkward.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't spend too much time on Facebook. My Instagram isn't even managed by me. So I barely look at Instagram except for when I need to communicate with someone like you or, you know, I communicate with a lot of different artists on Instagram.
Right.
Outside of like messages, like I don't really do my posts. I don't really like social media is just like a dead thing to me. I don't really find use out of it, but I do have use for it.
Right.
Like it's very like it's the avenues that I use to promote myself as an artist. So like I have a use for it. I just don't get much use out of it, you know, on a personal level.
Yeah, man. No, I feel you, man, and that's the thing for me too. And I try to use it more in a business minded, but then I get all worked up about some shit, and then I just got to go on there and put
sometimes,
hashtag Let's Go Branded.
You see that opinion on fucking on a Facebook status, and you're just like, yo, what? Actually, I had that moment earlier today. So I posted on Facebook today because someone said something stupid, something that just didn't make sense to me. But I'm not even gonna bring up this topic because this one will get me canceled probably. So, but it was just like sometimes I just see the dumbest shit I've ever like seen, and I'm just like, people think like this?
Yeah.
So insane.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I can bring this up because this won't get me canceled because I don't have an actual fucking opinion on it besides the fact that it's stupid. I think it's stupid to have an opinion on this. But someone posted, like, you know how, like, the boundaries of what sexual assault is considered to be are stretching, getting vaster.
Yes.
Someone posted, if you tricked a girl into liking you so she would have sex with you, you're a rapist.
Oh.
And I was like, I mean, yeah, if you tricked a girl into liking you so she would have sex with you, that's fucked up. But rapist is extreme.
Yes.
That's just to the far extreme.
Yeah.
And like, so I looked at the comments and like, obviously what I knew I was going to see were like men getting fucking shredded for saying anything other than this is facts.
Right, right.
And I'm just like, there's just a bunch of girls calling all these men rapists for being like, okay, this statement literally makes no sense. Yeah. I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
And like, Christ, like to me, that was just such a dumb thing to see today.
and then like, you involved yourself too.
And then I involved myself. I'm just like, well, I involved myself in a joking manner. I wasn't going to take a side because I don't have a side. Like I said, I don't trick girls. So it's not really my concern, but it was just the stupidity, the vibes of stupidity that I got off the person who posted it. And then all the stupidity happening in the comments. I'm just like, yo, so like if I pay a prostitute and she has sex with me, but she only does it for the money and she doesn't like me, am I a rapist? Yeah. Like just little fucking subtle jokes like that, like things that people are just fucking laughing at.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't jump into unwinnable debates, and anything concerning anything that concerns sex is an unwinnable battle if you're not on the winning side of that battle already.
Whatever that is, you know, whatever that means, whatever winning means on that side.
Say men have bigger feet than women, and women could be in an uproar about it. Like if you're not on the winning side of that battle already,
people are mad. You're canceled.
Canceled as fuck.
But the idea that. Well, I mean, it's just so stupid because the idea that women are out there fucking dudes for money, like they're tricking dudes. Does that make them rapists? Since they're tricking dudes who have money into fucking them and giving them said money, does that make women rapists? Or does that make them crafty? Or does that make them business minded?
It makes them business minded.
I don't fucking, I mean,
that's insanity. That's what I'm saying. But it wouldn't apply the same, you know, the opposite way, which is weird. Like I said, I don't form opinions on these things because I'm like, I'm not that dude and I'm not that girl.
Because I am a guy and this is, and I am, you know, I am a white percenting guy, even though I'm 38% Mexican. Right there, bitches. 38%.
That's a vast percentile, man.
There you go. 38. Hey,
you're basically half.
Basically, but I'm actually 2% Senegalese and 1% Jew, so I'm pretty proud of those two as well. So the rest,
I do not know my heritage. I just know I'm black. You know?
There you go, baby. I mean, I mean that's how the rest of the world sees you. So I don't know. Did that sound bad? I don't know. That might have sounded bad. I don't know if that sounds bad. Yeah, you're 86% Mexican, Reina. Okay, thank you for this, Craigslist. I want to read what Moving Dutchman said. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered, full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. Yeah, I feel you. You know, like these things come in waves, and like whatever comes out on the other side of this cancel culture and you know, like hatred of white people and all this shit, you know, like
just a lot of hate in the world.
Just hate. All this shit's gonna tamper down eventually, or we'll just implode and blow each other up. So there you go. That's fun too. Yeah. Okay, so I want to do Craigslist and I want to do this Baby Yoda interview. And you do have a new album coming out though, right? Like Drive. That's your next project.
Drive. Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Let's say we talk so much about politics. You get me caught in debate mode every time.
Dude, I'm sorry. It's just that I come in with these ideas, and this is by the way, this is my Facebook. Like, my podcast is like my Facebook feed. Instead of writing my characters, I'm telling people how I feel, so it's like,
Yeah.
I try to keep most of how I really feel on the podcast, and like just keep the social media as something to sort of promote, but like, shit spills over.
All right.
Anyways,
Cool. I actually gotta apparently get going here soon.
No worries, man.
So
no worries.
I'm gonna give you the rundown on Drive.
Sweet.
All right. So I'm 26, and I bought my first car this year.
Oh, wow.
Made me very happy. It's a 2009 Chevy Cobalt. It's white. It has black rims.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one really gives a fuck because it's a 2009 Chevy Cobalt. But to me, this is a Lamborghini. So that kind of spawned into me writing all of these like very egocentric songs with a lot of car references.
Wait, what's the name? What's the car again?
A 2009 Chevy Cobalt.
Okay, keep going.
So that led into me writing these songs that are just very ego driven, and also using a lot of like car references. So it kind of spawned this thing, or it spawned the album Drive, which isn't an album, it's more of a short project. It's like 5 songs. Yes. That's basically my car. Yeah.
There you go, folks.
Lambo.
The Lambo before time, right there. All right, I'm gonna keep this up while you explain yourself.
The prominent things I wanted to go over about that project. That's also going to be another project that comes hand in hand with some visuals. The visuals for that will probably be more standardized. Well, not really standard because Manifest doesn't do standard, but there'll be more normal music video format. The Ramens World stuff is going to be interesting to view. I think people are going to like it a lot. But for Drive, the prominent things I wanted to say about that is that all of those music videos are actually going to be directed by Knight.
Oh, nice.
So, me and Knight have been friends for like almost 4 years now, and we finally have formed like a good symbiosis with like music. So like it's kind of just trying to expand on where else we can start to intertwine the creative energy. So having him, he's a big fan of my music, or he tells me that all the time. He's a big fan of my music. So having his perspective on the visuals is going to be a very interesting thing as well. And that's also going to play out as a story. It's not really set in stone what that story will be yet, but I do know it's going to be post-apocalyptic.
Oh man, I'm in. Anything post-apocalyptic, I am so fucking in.
I do know it's going to be post-apocalyptic. I have that aesthetic set in mind, but where that story is going to go, I don't know. I only got 5 songs to tell it. So,
well, dude, I'm excited to hear it, and I really do dig what you do, man. I respect what you and Manifest does. You guys are fucking a bunch of just badasses. Oh, please keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go. So I just want to give you the important strong points that I should have been pushing throughout this whole thing. Okay. I do have a BeatStars. If you're interested in buying beats, you can find me at Ramens World on BeatStars. Cool. You can find me at Surreal Ramen Imaging on Instagram for digital art sales. Oh damn! I wanted to talk about that in like the more social tone, but we'll just. God, I'm gonna have to come on the show again, man.
That's fine.
But all right, I am planning on shooting the first episode of Ramens World at the end of next month.
All right.
So I'm planning an episode release day of no later than January 1st. So be on the lookout like January 1st-ish for the first episode of Ramens World. And that will be on my Ramens World YouTube channel, which is called Ramens World. That's all you're going to ever have to remember pretty soon. It's
Ramens World, yeah.
You'll find everything connected to me. Boom.
And we put the Beat Stars and Manifest is in the thing. I didn't know what else to put in there. So there's some links in the chat, everybody.
Beat Stars and Manifest website.
And
always
fucking
support the family.
Go in there and in the show notes as well for everyone listening at home. Make sure you go and support your boy.
I think I hit the
Surreal.
important points that I can get in like a short time.
I'm sorry
you always get me in debate mode.
Man, I'm sorry that we didn't talk that much about like the new stuff. I didn't know how much time you had. I'm sorry. Fuck it. I was just going.
I wasn't really sure either, but we've been chatting it up for like hours now, Well, it makes sense that we're out of time.
Well, I mean, you're out of time, Surreal. I have plenty of time.
You're still going. I'm out of time.
All right.
I do have to get going.
No worries, Fred. Hey, man, thank you so much. I really had a great time chatting with you. And
I always have a great time.
Yeah, man.
Always have a great time on the show, man.
We'll do it again.
Definitely, man. Just let me know the next time you got open. I'm definitely down to show up again, man.
Right on, brother. You have a great rest of your day, sir.
All right. You guys, too. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Peace. All right. There he is, everybody. Surreal Ramen. I'm sorry. Moving Dutchman, I'm giving you your points back. We didn't get to the Baby Yoda, but okay. Are we doing Craigslist? We didn't do Baby Yoda. Sorry, Baby Yoda. We didn't have time for Baby Yoda, but we should do some Craigslist. Are you guys down to do some Craigslist?